Hello, and welcome to the KOSH. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and the KOSH is a podcast that spotlights people who have an association with the KOSH and the Fox Cities region. KOSH listeners, how are you doing? It is a wonderful, wonderful morning. It's been a while since we've done an episode. Summer's tough. Summer, everybody's busy. I'm busy and trying to make time to do an episode, but we got lucky today. So I'm getting excited about this to get back to it. The weather, oh my God. Why? The weather gods have finally listened and said, Timber, we have weather for you. And I like it warm. I want warmth. My agreement with God is I only complain the cold half of the year, and this is the warm half. So there will be no complaints from me. None at all. Let it get warm. I'm about that life. Bless it. Okay. So now to the real business. All right, KOSH listeners, you know what I'm going to say? I do not know how I get so lucky and get these amazing, amazing guests. And no doubt, once again, there is a vibe in the space. We're going to have a fire episode today. I'm super excited about today. So, without further ado, this week's guest is Kim Walters. Did I say that right?
You did. Thank
Yes.
you. Yes. So happy to be here, Timber. Thank you.
No, thank you for making time. How are you doing this morning, Kim?
I am doing pretty good. I'm just really happy to be here. Very excited. Had a nice drive. Weather's good, as you said. You and I kind of balance out the world a little bit in our weather preferences, I think, because I do complain quite a bit in the winter. I don't like it above 75. Oh. But I love spring, love fall, and I can do with most of winter. So,
okay. So we're balancing each other out. I get that. Once again, I just feel like I don't like the people who just complain year round.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's never good, right?
It's never good. It's too hot. It's too cold.
Yeah.
You got to pick a side.
That's right. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Facts.
Yeah.
That's facts. All right. So, you ready to jump in?
I am.
All right. Kim, can you please share a little something about yourself and what is your connection to the KOSH or the surrounding Fox Cities area?
Yeah, that's great. Well, first of all, I want to start. It is early June as we're recording here, and it's Pride Month. So I want to just give a shout out to Pride Month.
Facts.
And I use she and her pronouns. A little bit of, I guess, about me. Personally, I'm a wife to the most supportive spouse in the world. His name is Mike. And we have 3 daughters who are all adult children now, one with their own family, and grandmother of 2 wonderful grandsons that are 2 years old and just going on 6 weeks.
Ooh.
So, yeah, loving life with my family, and my family's my priority.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah. And Mike sounds like he's totally a girl dad.
Oh, he is. He's a total girl dad. We thought, we thought we were gonna, always try. We had a girl, and then you're gonna try for the boy, right? And then we had another girl, and then you're gonna try for the boy. And he is way better at playing Barbies than I ever could be. He's so imaginative and so creative, and he just took that all on. And we've talked about like when he'd take him to like a playground. Boys traditionally are a little more active, and so he's like, I don't know what I'd do with a boy. He's a great girl dad and great just supportive of girls in general, because I've done a lot of different things in my life, and he's always supported me no matter what that direction was.
Okay, that's cool. As a dad who is a girl dad himself, like I always feel like I definitely wanted the boy in my life, but I feel like my daughter's got my back.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
That's daddy's girl.
Sure.
She's got dad's back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, for sure.
Yep. And we had a male dog for a while, so that was some maleness in our household.
Oh. What's his name?
That was Rudy. Rudy passed away during COVID.
Oh.
But yeah, Rudy was a great dog. Cocker Spaniel. Good dog. Yeah.
That's what's up. Kim, can I ask, and what do you do professionally?
Yes. Currently, I am the director of the CESA 6 Center for All here in Oshkosh. And we're all about helping organizations build their own capacity to do the good, right work of building spaces of belonging for students and employees and people in the world. Improving the culture.
That's what it sounds like. That's culture work.
Yes.
Okay, and you do that in educational settings. Do you do that in business settings too?
Yeah. Primarily, we support 39 school districts. Geographically, the state is divided into 12 CESAs. So CESA 6 is one of the 12, and we're in this area, north and south on 41, if you follow it a bit. But a few of our departments also cross over into nonprofits and the private sector, and our department is one of those as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You ready to jump into the first segment?
Sure.
Okay. First segment is called What in the World is Going On With? And that is where you start with the phrase, what in the world? And you tell us what's on your mind.
Okay.
So, Kim, what's on your mind?
So can we back up one moment, actually?
Oh, yeah.
I never talked about my connection to the KOSH.
Oh.
And I have lots of connection to the KOSH.
Oh, no, we need to
Can we
jump.
just do that first?
We absolutely
I'm
can.
sorry to throw it off.
No, that's not throwing anything off. Let's go.
All right. So first of all, I was born in Oshkosh. So that's the first thing. My parents went to high school here, met here. My grandfather on my dad's side was a local minister and married my parents. Mm-hmm. My mom's parents lived here for a very long time and over on East Bend. So I spent many, many years just growing up visiting them. When I attended UW Oshkosh for 1 year in my college journey. And
so you're a temporary Titan.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really long story, but yeah. If you ever want to talk about that, we certainly can. I was first year college, generationally, first year college person
so you're
in our
first gen?
family.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't really understand how the system worked back then. Started at Madison. It was a large school. I was a number. I was just taking things I was interested in and racked up the debt bill really high. Then some personal things happened. And so I commuted to Oshkosh for a year, but they didn't accept my credits in Madison.
What?
Yeah. Like I took things that were interesting. I took like Scandinavian literature for my literature course.
Oh.
Well, UW Oshkosh doesn't have Scandinavian literature. Right. So then it didn't really count. So I had lots of extra credits, but so then I transferred to a private school that did accept everything and got it done.
Got it done. Okay.
Got an education degree. Yeah. Cardinal Stritch. So sadly, they closed their doors recently.
They did. Mm-hmm. I was a little, I'm surprised. I guess I should say, like, I'm not surprised, but I'm very surprised because I know a lot of people, particularly in education, who that was their go-to, right? Particularly in the Milwaukee region, people who were doing their master's degrees or their doctorate degrees. And they had programming or particular programs for Milwaukee public school educators, if I'm correct, that helped them, get the credentialing that they needed so they could become assistant principals or principals and things of that sort. And so to hear them close the doors, I was like, oh, that's a blow.
Yeah, it was a big blow. I was shocked. I was just really, really shocked. But yeah, that's, they really helped wrap up my first degree there. And actually currently only degree. I have some other certifications, but yeah, very thankful to them. And recently, I know I think it was your last podcast was, can't remember his name. It's connected to the EAA here in Oshkosh.
Oh, no. Yes, that was Dick.
SKI ending, I recall.
I don't want to slaughter his name, but I'm going to say, Kapinski.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
going to go.
That sounds about right.
Dick, I am so sorry. I'm just going to apologize now.
Well, I just did that, talking about the Oshkosh connection. My dad built his own airplane and has gone to the EAA for years. And so I attended a lot with him, but I also worked 2 summers. It was my part-time gig up here at the EAA, serving, soda, ice cream, that kind of thing to the guests. So, yeah.
You're very Kosh.
I do. It's like I haven't lived here in a very long time, but I spend a lot of time here for multiple different reasons. And this is another long story. I'm not even going to do a mini version of this one, but we ended up honeymooning here in Oshkosh.
What? You're going to have to break that one down.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the plan. I said I wasn't going to expand on it, and here I go. Yeah. Well, we got married on a very hot 110 July 14th day. Ooh. And we were trying to be fiscally smart. We had a young one already. I kind of did things out of order. And we're like, we're just going to go one night away from our 4-year-old daughter, and we'll go camping. And then grandparents can watch her and bring her the next day or something like that, right? Well, when it was hot.
110 is hot.
And I told you I don't like it above 75. And Kim gets kind of cranky in the heat.
Oh, is that it? It comes out.
It does. And so, yeah, we were trying. I'm sorry. Yeah, we actually we honeymooned with her. My story is getting confused because my parents did come the next day to visit us and we weren't there. So we planned a camp. We brought our daughter with us. We drove, my car at the time was a 1980 Buick LeSabre. This was not in the 1980s that we got married. It was like 96 we got married in.
Oh, that was that was a big car.
It was a big car. And it overheated on the way to camping. Like twice. And then our windshield got hit by a rock and cracked. Like it was just, and we had the toddler was still like not fully potty trained at that time. So we had a little portable potty in the back. We were having to pull out the camping trip wasn't even that far. It was not that far out of where we lived at the time. And we tried. We got there. We set up the screen tent. I am not a big fan of bugs. Most people aren't, but I swear they love me. Tried to take the daughter down to the water to cool off, but like things just weren't working. And we're like, we're leaving. We left our entire campsite and we found the nearest hotel. And because of events that were going on at the time, there weren't any where we were. And the closest hotel to us from the West Bend area was Oshkosh.
Oh my God.
So we ended up, the 3 of us with my husband on the couch and my daughter and I in the bed. It was like the least romantic honeymoon probably anyone's ever had. Oh, but hey, it happened here in Oshkosh and we're still together.
Now, there was some challenges happening there.
So yeah. Life is what it is, and you go with it. So
you got to go with it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, I guess the Kosh does hold a special place in the family.
It does. Lots of different reasons why. But yeah,
that's so fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so I just wanted to make that connection.
Oh no. I think the connection is super important, and the rules are, Kim, this is your episode.
All right.
So we just go where you want to go with this.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Are we ready to jump into the first segment?
Let's do it. Okay.
What in the world is going on with? So what is your what in the world?
Boycotting, cancel culture.
Bruh. Oh, I'm with it. Let's go.
So I came into the story a little late, but with the Bud Light controversy with Dylan Mulvaney. So if our listeners aren't familiar, early-ish April, there was a contest going on. Dylan Mulvaney on her social media lifted up, recognized Bud Light during March Madness, and she had been gifted one singular can of Bud Light with her photo on. Now, Dylan Mulvaney is a trans woman, and it sparked and ignited this controversy. And I realized recently, I was like, what what happened, right? There's a lot going on in my life. I can't always read as much.
Right. And I'm glad we were talking about this because I never understood, like I could never find a clear explanation of what that whole controversy was about.
I don't know if I have the full picture either, to be honest. I try to be informed here. But my understanding prior to that, they hired a new, like a brand manager, really wanting to, as always, I believe in the company's history, but they have promoted Bud Lights for everyone. Yeah. Back in their history, I think in the 80s, they even supported pride parades and things like that. But Bud Light did. Yeah. And whoever owned them at that time. And so they brought in this new brand manager, to pull in a younger generation, a more inclusive, wanted that inclusive culture. And as one of the marketing strategies, this was one of the things that happened, because if you can get an influencer with millions of followers to a younger generation to promote your product, right. Smart business. And right. Then when that happened, though, they didn't expect, my understanding, I would say, the backlash they got. It took them a few weeks to come out with a statement at all after the event. And one would think or expect that when it takes so much time to get the statement out, maybe it's going to be really powerful and strong. And then
hold your ground.
Yeah. And it was really not that. and so, and instead of really supporting the brand manager, supporting the direction, that not wanting to give voice to those hateful voices, that's the direction they could have gone, is really support this all and Bud Lights for everyone, and stuck with that. They didn't do that. And
did they backtrack?
What's that?
Did they backtrack? I don't know. I didn't hear.
Like I had to look it up too. It was just kind of wishy-washy, right? Okay. Like, we've always been here. They mentioned veterans, and everyone, we love our veterans, right? They mentioned hardworking blue collar Americans, but they didn't name some of the more marginalized communities.
Of course,
in that. And so then Kid Rock came out and was firing like with an automatic rifle in his backyard, Bud Light cans, and people have boycotted it. They dropped 23% of value in 4 weeks time. They say, typically this is something that blows over. The boycotts don't last. They were surprised to see that growth week after week after week get higher and higher, where then Miller Lite and Coors Light went up about 20%. So, kind of watching that. But then now we've got Pride Month, and now things are happening with Target,
right,
and Kohl's for having LGBTQ plus related clothing and merchandise. And Target, my understanding is that one of their artists, who happens to be trans, they had some of their products in the front of the store, and now the public, people are mean. Like with Bud Light, they were attacking the guys who drove the truck or delivered the beer into the bars and the establishments. And in Target, the employees are being accosted and having things said. So then Target, in response, and I believe Bud Light said this at some point too, wanting to protect its employees, right? Yeah. And so some kept the display in the front of the store. Some moved it to the back of the store to another location. Some have removed the particular artist in question. And then, so I don't have the answer. Gosh, whoever has the answer to these problems, bless their heart, because it's complicated. How do you do the right thing and protect your employees, right? Like at the same time. So it's just, it's sad. And then just this week I read about Chick-fil-A, okay, which I was shocked by, because Chick-fil-A has really always been promoted or supported, I feel like, by
evangelical.
They're very Christian, the wing kind of.
At least that is the stereotype that I have associated.
Yeah, I kind of think about Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby, I think they're in lines. But then they were recently criticized for hiring a director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the wording that they had on their website said that, better together and creating a culture of belonging. And like that to me is not controversial. Being better together and having a culture of belonging. Like, I don't understand how anyone can find fault with that. And that person was hired like a year and a half ago, but that's just coming up in the news. So it definitely seems like a strategy from certain political groups. And that's a whole nother thing.
Well, it is. I
just hate this. The work I do around diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, building up intercultural competence. I don't feel like, and I never thought that it's political. It's human work. It's human development and growth of people and understanding and empathy. And I hate that people have made it political. But if
it has been totally villainized.
Yeah. Like, can I drink a can of Bud Light?
Well, yeah.
Right? Like, do I want to drink a can of Bud Light?
I mean, I would. Look, I'm a drink what I won't drink. and I'm sorry to say that beer is not it for me, but no matter what the brand is, I'm a drink what I want to drink.
Yeah, well, and that's how this whole thing really got restarted for me. Is one of my friends from high school who teaches in the community I used to teach in, posted a picture of Bud Light, and just the other day, and said, "I don't care what you think, I'm drinking Bud Light." And it made me wonder, okay, is this person stating this to be political, take a stance and support Bud Light? Or is this person just saying, stop making a big deal, like, I'm going to drink what I like to drink? And that analysis of just trying to figure out why my friend posted it, like, got me thinking.
That's a political stance, though.
Right?
Yeah. Look, I'm just going to drink what I want to drink.
Right.
I'm not really trying to hear what y'all talking about.
Right. Yes, that is sadly. So what brought me into this work is when my light bulb went on and realized that's kind of what I was doing. I was, my head in the sand around issues that I just always believe the best in people, right? So my daughters might bring up something that happened in the news, maybe with a police officer. And police officers are supposed to be good people. They're supposed to help people. So I'd say, oh, we just don't know the whole story. That can't be true. That was where I used to be. Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to find out more, right?
Yeah. I've just, like anything, to overgeneralize anything. And I just think anyone who's any of these professional identities, they're human. Mm-hmm. So they're built with fault. Right. They're going to screw it up. Yeah. There's going to be some bad ones in there, no matter what. None of them are all good. Yeah. No matter what you're doing. So I think that's the part that we have to be real with as humans and people living in our society, is like, you can't paintbrush a broad stroke anything and try to pretend like something is just all good. There's gonna be those who screw it up. Mm-hmm. Period. Well, and even with the best intent, we're gonna make mistakes along the way. Even with those who are doing really good stuff, there's just the possibility that you're gonna say the wrong things or screw it up. Yeah, we've got to give people the grace and the space to learn from their mistakes as well. And then we also just need to call out those things and not cover it up or paint it because of some political belief or association. Yeah. Wrong is wrong. Right. That is true. In the way we do business, we always try when we can to call in. Yeah. And if I call out, it's usually myself. Like, I'll call out a previous mistake that I made to learn from it so that others can learn from it. Right. But we try and call the others in. That's fair. I like that. call in instead of
Yeah.
call out. I'm all for maybe that's what I do, but I just like to talk to people, and I don't believe public calling out does very good.
Right.
Any good. Like I'm all about let's have an intimate conversation, just us two, and let's talk about real things and sort it out. So there's a true opportunity for reflection and growth.
Right. And it's, I feel like it's our responsibility, if we know better, to share that so that others can do better.
Yes.
Maya Angelou.
Bruh. Yeah, I love that. Okay.
Yeah, that's our guiding philosophy at the Center for All. When we know better, we do better. You know, we
Know
kind of
better, we do better.
modified her original quote, but
I like
keep
that.
it short and sweet. But yeah.
Okay. Well, my what in the world is going on with is what in the world is going on with the fact that Boscoe got jumped yesterday by 2 pugs.
Oh, no.
I'm not even kidding about this now. Okay. Kosh listeners, you know I like to tell a good story. And this is not going to be any less than that, because this was one of those things. So my wife, Boscoe will not poop in our yard. Boscoe, the podcast dog, won't poop in the yard. So
that's where he lives.
I guess that's how he feels. So we must take him for walks when he has poop time walks.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, man, let's go. So it was time. The wife takes him. We walk him so much, the neighbors all know. No one knows our names, but everybody knows Boscoe's name, right? So he's going on his poop walk, and then all of a sudden, I'm sitting on the porch, and I hear my name called, my real name.
Okay.
So then I know what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level when my real name is called. I have flashbacks of my mother and grandmother and other things going on. But then I know. And then all of a sudden, I hear a squelching, and I see 2 black pugs running up the sidewalk, and they jump on Boscoe because I can see the wife about 2 houses down. And I'm like, what? And she's like, help. And I was like, oh, my God, what is going on? So I got to jump up, run out the door, run down the block. Right now, here's the thing. Boscoe is a lover. My man is not a fighter.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's not about that life. But these 2 pugs were going. Now, really, and here's the thing. I know the pugs.
Okay.
We know when we see them. We've seen the owners walk the pugs. They broke loose.
Oh.
They were gone, and the owners didn't even know they had got out.
Okay.
So they run. Boscoe's like, oh, it's going to be playtime. And then they were like, oh, no, buddy. Put them up. It's about this life. Now, there's a new one who's kind of mean, and the older one is like, well, I guess if he going to jump on you, I'm going to jump on you too. Then, so Boscoe's like, oh, no, this ain't good. So I'm going to pull myself out my collar, and I'm going to take off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can't blame them.
So then they take off.
Then it's all of them on the wild, on the run.
They're on the run.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And then and I know the neighbors are out looking at us because there's 3 dogs, 2 of us. My wife's screaming because she's worried about Boscoe. He has no collar on, so we're not going to catch him. Sure. And the other 2 are like, oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's run.
Oh, no. Poor Boscoe.
Here's the thing. He ran to his favorite neighbor's house, went to their house, went to their back door, was like, hey, is there some treats here? Can I, and his buddies was like, oh, this is where you get your treats. Let me go there too. So then all of a sudden, the owners of the pugs come running up. You see them down the street. My wife's yelling at them like, come get your dogs, right? Yeah. And this is definitely a high emotional state at this point. Yeah.
How did it end?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. The neighbor was a wonderful person. Okay. He actually tried to grab Boscoe first. But here, when you have a frantic situation, you never think of the simplest answer to do that will probably solve the problem. And you know what it was? treats.
Yeah.
I
got a treat.
Wait, that's it. We got there, right? He's there now. We're there now. They're still jumping around, doing the things and running around. And all I was like, Boscoe, treat. And he was like, oh, what? Huh? What? And then they was like, and apparently they know this word too. Mm-hmm. So then they slowed up and was like, oh, wait, huh? Look. And they just stopped.
Yeah.
They were about that life.
Uh-huh.
So he was able to grab them. The one word.
Well, you know, it is amazing. You know, I shared with you, I think, before we got on the podcast, we're a dog family, and we've been places, and my daughter's husky had gotten loose, and we jumped in the van. Like, we knew where she was, but she wasn't. Huskies are stubborn, very stubborn. Mm-hmm. We got the van, had the side door open, and yelled, "Miska, want a treat?" Jumps in the car. Right?
That was
like,
it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, treats are magical.
And why didn't we think of this in the chaos?
Because you're not thinking. That's not where your head is.
No,
it's all emotion.
We're trying to grab dogs and keep dogs away from each other, and they're jumping, and it was like, oh my God.
There's so many dog stories to tell. Dog parks. Oh, do you go? Do you not go? Like, it depends on the park. Depends on the.
My wife doesn't trust dog parks.
It's tricky. It's tricky. Sometimes they're really good, and they can be, that one time can be so bad that you're like, I'll not go. We'll go somewhere else.
Bosco's got this small man complex where he likes to play with the big dogs. Mm-hmm. That's his thing. He wants to.
He doesn't want to be in the little side park for the little dogs.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
No, he wants to hang out with that German Shepherd, that big whoever. Like, he's all about that life. He's like, oh yeah, buddies, the big dogs. Yeah. He thinks he's a big dog in his head, I think, and he's just not.
Yeah. Aww.
So that is what in the world is going on with.
That's a good one.
Hey, bruh, it happens. All right, next segment, word association. So this is where I say a word and you tell me what comes to your mind. So, and every episode we like to start off with the unifying word, the all-encompassing great word of food.
Yeah, well, it is summer, so I'm thinking cookouts. It's great.
Who grills in your house?
Oh, I told you what a supportive husband I have.
Oh.
He is not just the griller, he's the cook.
Oh.
Like, I'll bake or make desserts, or prepare like toast or cut up fruit.
Did you just say toast?
Toast, yes. Yeah, I can toast a lot of things. I can boil some good water. But seriously, my husband is a fantastic cook. His mother taught him well, and and so even before I left today, we're having some friends over this afternoon, and I was like, could you pick up some burgers and some hot dogs? I have kids and like to have choice. But yeah, it's just, I have to ask ahead of time and ask nice because I'm not the one doing the work. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right, cookouts. I like that. Did you do a cookout? When have you done one recently?
No, this will be our first one actually. And the other thing, like, just with that summer eating, like, it's so much easier to eat healthy in summer. Like, you get hot, and so then you want the watermelon and the fruit and the fresh vegetables. And in winter, when I'm cold, I just want all the unhealthy, cozy food. So I look forward to that little transition from the winter weight to the summer, more active lifestyle and healthy eating. So
I like that. That's a good thought process in there. I don't know. I'm kind of torn up. I'm in this transition of trying to eat healthy, but summer to me is grilling things.
Yeah.
Which means that I must pull out my smokers. Ooh. I must pull out grills. I must get meat that must take time
to marinate
it must be marinated, must be seasoned right. It must take several hours for it to have the right texture and flavor to it like that. But somehow none of that feels very healthy.
We've got these chicken kebabs my husband makes with it's like a very common sauce I can't think of right now. Anyway, just on skewers with peppers and onions and mushrooms, and then this marinated chicken and teriyaki. Teriyaki, it just came to me.
Yeah.
Really good teriyaki. That's healthy. A nice lean protein, a good marinade, vegetables.
Okay, that's fair.
Pineapple.
I'm gonna be honest. I have not kebabbed it enough in my life.
It's the work prep, but like I would help like prepare the kebabs. Like I can stack once they're all cut up and put them on a stick. I can do that, but then
you score the things.
Yes, thank you. That sounds much better.
Oh, I love it. Okay, cocktail or beer?
Cocktail for sure. Beer. I love a good Hefeweizen, but that's it. Like I don't really like any other beer. Like
what is that?
So there's Weiss beer, like German beer, Weisse.
Okay.
But then there's Hefeweiss, and that's like a weedier German beer than just the Weiss. And like they're really German names that I can't. I'll be butchering here, but like Franziskaner or Weistenhofer or something like that. I know it when I see it. Like a light version of Summer Shandy, but no, I'm totally a cocktail girl. A fruity martini, but like really my go-to is flavored vodka with lemonade.
Oh yes.
I don't like carbonated, like sodas and stuff in a mixed drink. I don't like, but like blueberry vodka with lemonade or sweet tea vodka with lemonade.
Oh, I'm going to give you the secret.
Okay.
The summariest, happiest drink. Cucumber vodka with lemonade with a mint and like a touch of mint leaf in it.
Now that sounds really good. I drive every summer. We take a trip up to Eau Claire. There is a distillery there called Infinity, and they make something called Summer Heat, and it's a bottled cocktail that is made with cucumber, lemonade, and jalapeno.
Oh,
puts a little kick into that, what you just said.
I'd be
and
about
so
that.
I think I'd like yours too, but like, yeah, it's a great drink. So I buy like, because it's only up in that region. They haven't come down here yet, but they sell out every season. They only make it for the summer, and it's Summer Heat. Delicious.
Summer Heat. Okay. We're gonna put that in podcast notes.
Okay.
Because somebody's gonna be
link
like
to Infinity in Eau Claire.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna be like, oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Concert.
Yeah, I'm one of these people who loves music, but really terrible with like knowing song titles, artist names, and that kind of thing. So grew up going to Summerfest, Alpine Valley, like love all that, right? My husband and I do attend concerts. Some of the best that I think I've been to, Mumford and Sons. We recently went and saw Marcus Mumford is the lead singer who kind of went solo at this beautiful, intimate little theater in Madison called the Sylvie. That was awesome. Zach Brown Band, very fun. Also, Bare Naked Ladies put on such a good show. So, most of them have been, though, like I said, at Summerfest or Alpine Valley, other than that Marcus Mumford. Well, we've seen Mumford and Sons a number of places. For my husband, that's his band, and I love them as well. Just at a different level. So then he's seen them probably 6 times, like.
Oh, that's his band.
That is his, Pink Floyd too, though. He saw Pink Floyd many times.
Now that's something like people. I don't think people talk about it. Like Pink Floyd was so huge in my high school.
Yeah.
Yes. But it was big for a long time, and now it's. I think it's hitting that age where people don't talk about it like they used to, or maybe I'm just not hanging around with the people that talk about it.
Some of those old T-shirts seem to be making a comeback with people in like the 20-somethings, but I haven't heard as much as the music to go with it.
Right. Okay. Just because we talked about concert, I'm just going to throw in there that last night, I believe, was the free concert they had for Flo Rida. And that was just, in Green Bay.
Wow.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
They did a free concert for Flo Rida. But he started 2 hours late.
Okay.
But it's free.
So yeah, they were all just
You get what you
can't
pay
complain,
for.
right?
You
Yeah.
can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. But I mean, I'm just thinking like, okay, when I go to a concert and depending on how that's all going, I'm trying to make sure that I leave like a bathroom. You're trying to time your bathroom time, but if you start 2 hours late, you done screwed up
that's
all
rough.
the bathroom.
Yeah. Yep.
Trying to figure out,
And then you can't keep your place. You can't get back because it's so crowded.
whatever. Yeah, the whole nine. So I don't know what the setup was, but the pictures look good. But then I heard he started 2 hours late, and I haven't had a chance to read if it was a good concert. But then again, it was free. So what you gonna say?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Can't say nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure some people were disappointed in the 2 hours late,
I don't know. Hey, look, it was warm. It
Yeah.
wasn't cold. It wasn't rainy.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful
That's
day.
true.
So, if I got to sit 2 hours and wait, what I'm going to guess is like that there was a lot of beverages sold in that 2 hours. Could this have been a strategy? I'm just going to say. Somebody might not realize, but it might have been a strategy.
Yeah. Maybe.
Then maybe that's how they paid for Flow right at the end. That 2 hours might have paid for itself.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Streaming.
Yeah, so there's two shows that come to mind. One of my daughters, my youngest, had been really after me to watch this one called Heartstopper. And in the work I do, I often recommend to people who want to learn more about others. I recommend movies and series and things like that. And it had gone on my list a long time ago, but I hadn't recommended it yet because I hadn't watched it. And it's on Netflix, and it is the cutest show. It's about high school kids and primarily LGBTQ falling in love in high school and that complicated journey of coming out and all of that. But it's a cute love story of high school, and it was just really sweet. It's sweet. It's cute. I can't say enough about it, which I wasn't expecting for some reason. I was maybe expecting something more, I don't know, in your face or something. I don't know, but it's soft. It's cute. It's lovely. So it's a good place for anyone to start who wants to like expand what their thoughts are on that. If they're not on the acceptance journey of that yet, it might be a good show to just start with. Okay. But then also, I have to give a shout out to this streaming show called Shrinking on Apple TV. Have you seen that?
No.
It's so good. It is so good on so many levels. So Shrinking comes from the maybe a traditional name for like your psychiatrist or psychologist, your shrink.
Oh,
okay.
Like I was wondering, you had me.
It took me a few episodes. It's so embarrassing that I didn't pick up on it sooner. One day I was just watching the intro and I'm like, oh, I get it now. Because I was like, why is it called Shrinking? But it's about these psychiatrists that work together in an office and like their relationship, but their relationship outside too. And it's a very diverse cast. Very talented cast from the Ted Lasso. Some of the people associated with Ted Lasso.
I just finished that.
Okay. I don't say anything because I haven't seen the last few episodes yet, but I'm on that too. But it's Jason Segel, Harrison Ford. This new, I think she's a newer actress, new to me, Lukita Maxwell plays the daughter. She's phenomenal. Jessica Williams, great. Great cast, great writing, I feel like it's just a human show, like there's just sometimes like family dramas or whatever, everyone can relate to something in it.
Right.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Shrinking, it's worth
Shrinking.
Yeah.
Okay. That's on the list now. I'm totally going to look that up. Apple TV, I'm impressed with their shows.
Yes, I agree.
Like, and I won't tell you anything about Ted Lasso.
Thank you. I want to be surprised.
It's fantastic.
That you can tell me. That you can tell me. But
I'm just
yeah,
all right.
Yeah, such a good show. So many life lessons in Ted Lasso.
Shop local.
All right. So I live about an hour from here. So at first I struggled with this one, and I'm always about shopping local, like farmers markets and that kind of thing. But then I remembered I drive special to Oshkosh every year for Hughes chocolate. chocolates.
Oh.
Yes, over on Doty.
Bruh.
Oh my gosh, that place. If any of the listeners have not been, like maybe you've eaten them but you haven't been there, just going there is a joy. It's just so neat to see how they do this out of a home in a basement. It's just phenomenal, and they have the best chocolates in the world. We brought them with us when we went to Bulgaria as gifts. I had 13 pounds of chocolate in my luggage.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, we had lots of gifts to give away, and I just thought this is the perfect gift. I got to do it.
You'll make friends that way.
So yeah.
You know, it's definitely, it's like the easiest Christmas gift. Like it's one of those things. My wife, she's huge on that.
Yeah.
You know, and giving those away at holidays, and she's picky about it.
Yeah. Want to know funny
Easter, Christmas.
Yeah. Yes. Want to know a funny story about that? You know, they come in that little white box, very sturdy, nice white box of chocolates. Right?
Correct.
So when we went to Bulgaria, we were visiting my daughter, who was there for a year on a scholarship teaching English, and her grandparent had sent her Christmas present with us. It was wrapped in Christmas wrapping paper. Gave it to our daughter that morning, and she opened the wrapping paper off and saw the Hughes chocolate box, and then opened it very excited. And I was taking pictures, and I didn't know what was in it either. And when I opened it, it was a pair of socks. Her grandparent had just reboxed, and her face in the series of photos I have just fell from like sheer excitement down to like so disappointed, and the grandparent cannot live it down yet, but has apologized and bought some Hughes chocolates to replace the not empty box, but yeah, that was a funny story.
That is hilarious, actually, because I have definitely been a victim of some reboxing.
Okay. Yeah.
And we do it to other people all the time. Oh no, we keep all the boxes.
Oh yeah, you watch their face next time they open it.
I can when you were telling this story, I could literally see like the disappointment. Like it's like, oh my God, I hope this is a melt away.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like socks. Bruh. Oh, that goes hard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Diversity.
Yeah. Well, as diversity, I feel like a lot of times people just automatically think racial diversity and diversity. There's so many different levels of diversity, whether you're talking about generational age, religion, language, socioeconomic status. But what we do at the Center for All is one thing I thought of. It's this assessment we do called the Intercultural Development Inventory, where a person gets a score of where they think they are with their intercultural competence, and where they actually are with their intercultural competence. And as human beings, we tend to think we're better at things than we might be, whether that be driving.
Not us.
Yeah, like, driving or managing people, you might think you're really good, and someone might think differently. And so, this is a psychometric assessment. So it's valid, it's reliable, it's been tested many years, hundreds of thousands of people, available in multiple languages. And it just gives people a really good starting place if you're wanting to understand where you're at yourself, and then start learning about other cultures, right? Like, and that could be the person next door. It can be, we were all raised differently, and you never know how different your upbringing is until you stay at your friend's house, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. So yeah, it's just a really great tool. It's really what started me on my journey. I talked about that light bulb moment I had. Right. It was when an IDI qualified administrator gave me some resources, like, watch this on YouTube, read this article. And then I was like, what? Like, again, I grew up in a bubble, very homogenous community, taught in that community, didn't really, I mentioned going to Bulgaria, but I didn't really travel much either. And so I only knew what I knew, and I didn't really understand the perspective and the lived experience of people who didn't look like me. So it's a great tool. Great tool.
Last word, community.
Now here I'm going to lift up a new team member who's coming to join my team. Her name, you had the pleasure of meeting recently, Larice Snyder, when you came to be a panelist for us. Larice does a lot of community work, and I'm so excited to have her on the team for that reason. She lives in the Fond du Lac community and has been running the Humanity Project, or I shouldn't say running it. She's on a team. But doing a lot of work with our police department and the school system, working with the Boys and Girls Club, United Way. She's really all about community, and I'm so excited to have her on the team so that we can grow what we do with that aspect of bringing the community more into schools, whether that's community, members on committees and teams, but like those are the voices of the people you serve that you should be hearing.
Oh, yeah. I was very excited to hear that she was added to the team. I've known her.
Okay.
Yes. And she's been doing that work.
Yes, she has.
In Fond du Lac. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. I'm just going to let that be. I'm not sure. Not sure what. Oh, because you wanted the KOSH. Is that
Oh, no. Fond du Lac.
Oh,
Fond du Lac. My experiences with Fond du Lac have definitely had its challenges.
Recently they had that real tragedy. I know there was. I don't know if you'd heard about the shooting.
Oh no.
Yeah. Young people affected the schools at the end of the year. It was sad.
I'm gonna have to go check out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in a space where I've actually tried to get away from some of the news. Just trying to recenter and have some peace and news does not have enough celebration in it. Everything is kind of tragic, urgent, just negative. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay. I used to be a person like I hung on news and I wanted to watch everything about news, and because I wanted to be informed and I wanted to be able to defend or debate when challenged, and that happened often, right? But now I'm kind of like, nah, I'm not sure if lots and lots of news is good for one's mental health.
Right. It's heavy.
It's heavy, and a lot of what you're watching, can you truly affect it?
Right.
So do you take on that burden as such, right? Is there better spaces to put that energy or that research time, better ways to go about it? I don't know. I'm at a crossroads with it. So I'm still taking it in because I have to be informed, just personally, but professionally also, but I'm not as diligent as I used to be.
That's probably a healthy, good choice.
I do feel better.
That's good. That is good. Yeah. You talk about that effect. Can you have that effect? Just because you have the knowledge, can you make an effect, a positive change? Yeah. And we at CESA 6, not just the Center for All, but our CEO, Ted Knightsky, really brought this idea of Buffalo leadership to the work we do, and it really instills in us, Buffalo leadership is because buffaloes run toward a storm when there's a storm coming, where cows run away from it and thus are in it longer. Feel more like Eeyore, like, oh, it's so miserable. Right. Where the buffaloes are like, let's do it. Let's get to it. Let's face it head on and get through it. And we talk about how every person is a leader because someone is watching you, someone is listening to you.
Right.
And so you can affect those around you. And I always try and keep that in my mind. Like, what can I say to who that I have influence over?
I like that. Buffalo leadership. That's a good term. Okay, I got to learn more. All right. KOSH Hidden Gems. This is your opportunity to share a hidden gem. It can be in the KOSH or it can be outside of the KOSH, but a hidden gem can be something everybody knows about, but maybe they don't know this particular about it, or maybe it's something people just don't really know about.
All right. Can I share more than one?
You can share as many as you want.
All right. Because I was like, oh, do I have to pick one? So the first one I'm going to say is something I did last fall, Octoberfest in Appleton, put on by the Chamber of Commerce, Fox Valley Chamber of Commerce, I believe that puts that on. I went to it as a volunteer, just hoping to meet people because I'm not from this area. I thought, well, what can I do? I'm like, I could like serve in this capacity. And I loved it. I'd recommend it for everybody, volunteer. Like, it's so much fun. It's just so much fun. You meet the people, those few hours that you're with. You see the people you're serving. I saw people from school districts I work with all the time. And if you haven't been, a lot of fun. I was surprised how big it was when I got there. It's
huge.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge. It's probably just the one thing that's slightly smaller than Mile of Music.
Okay.
Mile of Music is huge.
Is that in Appleton also?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I thought that was great. Another hidden gem I've been to recently. I was there a long time ago. The Fox City Stadium. The Timber Rattlers play there. Been to a lot of Timber Rattlers game. If you haven't, so much fun. I'm not a sports fan, but because of all the entertainment that goes on in between the innings, I stay engaged. But recently I went there for 2 conferences. And their space there just was awesome. It was really, really great space to learn in. And so that's that one. And then my next one isn't here yet.
Oh, bruh.
So, have you heard of Uncle Mike's bakery up near De Pere, Green Bay area?
No.
Well, one is coming. So, they are opening summer of 2023. I don't have the location, but they're actually calling it, instead of Uncle Mike's Bake Shop, it's Uncle Mike's Food Emporium. So I think they're expanding, but what it is, it's the go-to for me. They have like, I don't know if it's national or international awards for their Kringle. Now you're from Milwaukee, so you probably know Racine is like known for their Kringle.
I know that I have had to sell many a Kringle.
Fundraisers.
Let's be honest here. Whether it was back in the day when I was a kid myself, or as my daughter had to do it for soccer or whatever it was, numerous years.
And I wasn't a big Kringle fan. They're usually fruit based, and I don't like fruity desserts. I like chocolate. Yeah, chocolate.
Wait. We know we done learned about you, Kim.
So, but my husband, he works at Northwestern Mutual in Milwaukee, downtown, and they had a Kringle contest. Just something fun for the team to do. And so people brought all different kinds of Kringle from all different places, and he brought Uncle Mike's. He went up to De Pere is the one we usually go to, and he won his one. And they have the fruit, but they also have their like biggest award winning is sea salt caramel pecan.
Oh, bruh. That sounds wrong.
It is so good. And when you go to their shop, they have samples all out that you can like try a lot of different kinds or their new kind, and they'll change it up. They'll do something pumpkin in the fall. They have all different kinds. So so that is coming to the area. I want to say it's coming to Oshkosh, but it might be Appleton. I can't recall.
Okay.
It's coming to the Fox Valley.
All right, I haven't heard it for Oshkosh. It would not surprise me if it was landing in Appleton.
I just checked like 2 weeks ago. Like they have the facility that the indoors is all set, but like the products aren't in it yet. So it's coming. Uncle Mike's Food Emporium.
All right. That sounds like I'm going.
All right. So those are the hidden gems I know about.
Okay.
You know what? Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Of course you can.
Well, when I was wondering about if I wanted to go to a Juneteenth celebration, I know they're happening all over from Fond du Lac to Appleton, Oshkosh.
Yes.
Usually family-friendly events.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to try one in the Fox Valley area, which one? You probably have to say Appleton, but I don't know. You're like the Kosh. So
no, there's actually 2 happening in Oshkosh. One's happening at the amphitheater in Oshkosh. And then there's another one by another organization. Now, here's the thing. I do believe these are Oshkosh's first Juneteenth Day celebrations.
Oh, okay.
But there's 2.
A way to go, Oshkosh.
Yeah. There's 2 different organizations kind of leading the charge. I think there was conversation about trying to join the two, but then I think they each had different visions. So I think Oshkosh is going to have two. So there's going to be 2 Juneteenth days. What I think is pretty cool is like, I do believe all the, what I would call the major metropolitan areas of Northeast Wisconsin are having Juneteenth. So Fond du Lac's having one, Oshkosh is apparently having 2, and Appleton's having theirs, and Green Bay is having one. Of course, I am going to say the one that is in Appleton, which I do believe is, I want to say it's the 11th. If that's next Sunday, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Next Sunday.
June 11th.
All right.
All right. But that one, and it's hosted by African Heritage Inc., is off the charts.
Okay.
It's just off the charts. It's so well organized. The community support is over the top. People show up, they serve, they volunteer, but then it's just, they really put a lot of time and effort in the organization. The food is really good. Okay. And like the community shows up and it just feels warm.
Okay.
So
I'm so glad I asked.
So I'm biased. I'll let you, I will, KOSH listeners, I will give the report because I do plan on showing my face at some of these other ones around the region, particularly the ones in Oshkosh, and we will find out what's happening there. Right. But no matter what happens, let's celebrate the fact that we're having them. Yeah. Let's acknowledge the fact that it's their first year having it. And we're going to show, no matter what it is, we're going to show grace.
Yes. Yes.
That's what we're going to do. Yes. All right. What's the KOSH need?
So I think I'm going to speak very generally to this, just from the various cities in which I serve, and it being city in Wisconsin. I just think all our municipalities need more understanding, more empathy, more acceptance. The world's a tough place. It is a tough place. And people, some people are choosing to be less kind than more kind. So trying to, just become a little more aware, a little more knowledgeable, understand that you don't understand everything.
That's fair. What I would really like to see is for some of our municipalities to just come to terms with the fact that your demographics have heavily shifted and will continue to heavily shift. So therefore, you must act as accordingly. You must acknowledge the fact that this has happened and that you have a whole different set of residents and constituents in your communities, and you should serve them at the same levels that you're serving others.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's really what I'm looking for. Like, this isn't about, it's about the acknowledgement of the fact that change happens and already has and is going to continue
and it doesn't need to be a bad thing.
It is not a bad thing.
But that's what people think. Change. They don't want to change. Everyone wants to transform, like a caterpillar into a butterfly, this beautiful thing. But then when you realize transforming includes changing the way you do something, maybe, or what you offer, like, well, wait, then the brakes get put on, It doesn't have to be that way.
And too many whys. I don't like all the whys sometimes. Because you're not asking whys about a lot of other things. So here's my thing. If you're going to ask why for everything, or don't ask why at all.
Right.
But pick one. Don't be selectionally why.
Yes. 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 That is very true. And the reverse flip side of that is like, well, this is the way we've always done it.
Oh yeah.
Right? No.
Well, that ain't gonna work.
Right. Yep. Agreed.
Yep. All right. Love that. Okay. Now we are at what is becoming my favorite segment. It is story time. This is your opportunity, Kim, to just share a narrative with us. It can be about anything.
All right. So I'm picking something that I participated in this past week at the Well, it's the town I grew up in. It's the school district I served in the West Bend community. They do something really wonderful for their graduating seniors. And I think a lot of schools do this, but I don't know if they all do. And it's called the Grad Walk. So I took off work on Friday because I wanted to go watch the Grad Walk at the school I taught with. So what happens is all the seniors put on their cap and gown. There's all the buses, and there's lots of different elementary schools in West Bend, parochial, private, and the buses go to every elementary school, and they walk through the school. So all the kids cheer, and the staff are out there, and you see these little ones that you had maybe in kindergarten in the elementary, but then they also go to their middle schools as well. And we have like an intermediate 5-6 school and a 7-8 school, and I taught at the 7-8 school. And this class is special to me because it was the last, well, first of all, they're special. And it's the last class I taught before I went into instructional coaching. And I had a great team. It was just a great experience on a lot of different levels. And my nephew also happens to be in that class. And so I went, and I was just excited. And my colleague that I taught with no longer teaches there, and she came with me. She took the day off, so we went together and visited with some staff. But then the kids started coming through, and we had spent an hour or two. We got the yearbook out, wanted to like refresh our memory of all the kids and who we're going to see, and especially the boys. We taught 7th grade, and they changed so much from 7th grade to 12th grade that sometimes they're hard to recognize. But we're like, we're going to do it. And just, I was just purely excited for the day. Well, then when it came, and the kids came and started hugging and screaming and wanting selfies, and it was fun, but it was emotional. It was way more emotional than I had planned. And just, I'm crying, students are crying. They're like, don't ever do this to me again. Because nobody likes to cry, but they were like happy tears. That one of the students who I have a pretty close relationship with wasn't sure she was going to be graduating, and she did. She was there, and I was so just excited. Like my heart just was big and full. And I talked to my sister-in-law later that day. I sent her a picture of my nephew. Was one of the ones I did a selfie with. And she asked me, how was the day? And I said, it was great. It was just really emotional. And she responded back saying, that's what she's hearing from the kids too. Like the kids weren't expecting that either. And it was really positive, and I'm just so glad they get to do that. So,
isn't it powerful when you get that opportunity to go back and see students that you got the opportunity to spend time with and maybe have influence?
Yeah. And yeah, they're so great. And I was just like, now that you're 18, find me on social media. I want to see what you do. You want to stay in touch with these kids because they're going to do amazing things. Right. They are. This Gen Z, I think every generation from the older generation might get a bad rap, right? Like they associate something with it and whatever. And I have a lot of hope because of Gen Z. They seem to be much more accepting, wanting to do the right thing, work for companies that really make change and have meaning. And
right.
Yeah.
They hold their companies accountable.
Yes, they do.
So that's huge.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Well, I think we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Did you know there are children in the Fox Valley in need of hearing aids, but their parents struggle to provide them because of lack of insurance or high copays? I am Juliette Sturkins, audiologist and board member of Here in the Fox Cities, and proud that this small local nonprofit organization has helped fund hearing aids for some 30 kids. Your donation would help more children hear. Visit hereinthefoxcities.org to learn more and to see their smiles. Every child deserves to hear.
All right. That's awesome. Every time I hear that commercial, it makes me think like, yeah, That's it. You know, when I did that episode, I just learned so much about, hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something I don't think we pay enough attention to.
Well, until you struggle with hearing, like I do. So I don't have a hearing aid yet, but I know I'll be getting one. It's just when I first started looking, the costs are astronomical and insurance doesn't cover them. But my understanding is costs have come down. So both my ears, I'm hearing impaired. There's just certain sounds, certain levels of sound I can't hear. So for the most part, I do okay. But yeah, and when there's a speaker and it's a small room and they think they have a loud voice and so they choose not to use the mic, that affects some of us.
Yes, it does.
And I always, try and sit toward the front so I can actually see the lips. It helps. I'm not a lip reader, but I can help make out a word if I wasn't sure. And, the same I think is true. Anything like where you have the gift of being able-bodied and you don't understand the perspective of someone who doesn't. Recently, I've been learning a little more about blindness and people who can't see, and then they have the technology that'll read text to them, from the computer. And I didn't know that certain fonts are more readable.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Okay, that's new to me.
Yeah. And I also saw, what is it? I think it's on LinkedIn. When you post on LinkedIn, if you have a photo, they give you the option of describing the photo. And it's so that people who can't see it and their computers are reading it to them can read the description. So, they can get a sense visually in their head and imagine what the photo's of. Which is, again, that's something just more of us need to do. Or like when you show a video to someone, put the closed caption on for those in the audience who can't hear as well. So yeah. Always learning.
Always learning. Facts. Okay. Well, it's that time of the show.
All right.
Every time it makes me happy. I just can't help it. All right.
It's good, powerful music.
It is, right? It gets you ready. It is time for the topic of the week.
Yes.
So, once again, topic of the week is 99.9% of the time chosen by our guest. Every once in a while, I might have to pick the topic of the week, but it does not happen very often. So, Kim, what is our topic of the week?
Topic of the week is self-awareness.
Okay, self-awareness. Let's go.
All right. And if I can put the tweak on it, cultural self-awareness, like knowing more about your own culture. I'm going to tell a little story with this one. When I got involved in learning more about equity in the school setting and what it means to lead in an inclusive, more equitable way. I went to a conference. I spoke up. My assistant superintendent said, yes, you can go. Sent me to see Dr. Shiraki Holly. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Great. He was a great speaker, but it was like, I went there by myself. No one else in my district was with me. And my daughter was there with her district. Kind of funny side story. But the very first thing we had to do, he was talking about culture and a little bit about ethnicity. And I'm very new, very green to all of this. And we had to pair up with someone in the audience we didn't know and go talk to them about our culture, tell them about our culture. So I got up. I'm a rule follower, right? So I'm doing it. I want to do the right thing, but I'm thinking, I have no idea what I'm going to say. And I got paired with this lovely woman who could speak eloquently about her culture. And I started rambling on about my German heritage. Like I was like a deer in headlights a little bit. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm German, but I don't like German food. I don't know how to polka. I like German beer. I was just really ignorant about my own culture. And I couldn't name really anything at that time. And that was not long ago to be. So age 48 is kind of when my journey started. I am 54 now, going on 55 soon. And at the age of 48, I had never in my life had a conversation about race or ever. Or any identity or culture, ever. Like you might see like in the movies, those families who, you really only talk about positive things. And if there is something negative, you whisper like, oh, she's pregnant, like.
Yes.
That's my family. And so really nice, good people, right? Like good intent. But yeah, never talked about it. We'd talk in school, we'd talk about poverty. That was like a safe topic to talk about. But even professionally, never talked about it. And so I say this because cultural self-awareness is a journey I'm on. And I do think it's a journey. I'm always learning about how my identity plays a role in that, why I am the way I am, why I think the way I think. And sometimes things pop up and I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from, right? Like that was somewhere in my past. Learning what it means to be a Midwesterner, to be a Wisconsinite. We definitely have our own culture. And as a white person and dominant culture, right? Like that is in the United States and in our systems of our business systems, our school systems. It just is because of our past. It is where we are. And so I just think it's so important for people to work on their own self-awareness of themselves and how they show up places. And so in the work I do, we have a few different tools that help with that. We have, before I mentioned my light bulb moment was with the IDI, the Intercultural Development Inventory is one tool we offer in coaching with that. We have another assessment around cultural intelligence that we offer that looks at different values of different cultures and, their spectrums of those things and where do you land and how might others land and how do you work together in a positive way with people like that. We have the intercultural conflict style assessment because it really looks at, if you think of like a X and Y axis, some of us are more direct in our language, our approach. Some are more indirect and use more nonverbals and maybe storytelling to get a point across. Some of us are more, the other axis then is emotional. Are you emotionally restrained or are you emotionally expressive? And how those things can be viewed if you look at like our dominant culture, right? We don't value, we say we don't value emotion, yet in a lot of boardrooms, anger's okay, but you can't maybe show sadness, right? And so really just looking at that and seeing where you land, seeing where others might land, seeing what are the strengths of where you are, what are the weaknesses, what questions can you be asking, and how can you work together? Those are some of the tools. And then I'm really excited about this other new tool. We partnered with a company called Mersion. And for Wisconsin, we have the exclusive contract in schools to work with them around using artificial intelligence and virtual reality in the DEI space. So what happens is we have these different scenarios and people can pick from like 10, 12 different scenarios where they want to practice a skill. So maybe you've learned a lot about maybe what you'd say if somebody said a microaggression. How are you going to address that in a team meeting if that happens? And you think you could do it. But like, can you really? And so you can go through this scenario, the simulation. It's a simulation with avatars where that happens.
Oh.
And then we coach you afterwards and give you tools, and then you can pick a new one and you can apply your new skills and strategies and try it again. And what the research has shown is that with two simulations and coaching, people's behavior starts to shift and they feel more confident. They feel much more confident moving forward, having actually practiced it with avatars. So that's what I'm most excited about.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. You should try it.
I'm willing to.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
Because I've got some free ones I'm giving away to just get the word out there, like how great this product is. So I will be.
Wait a minute. I'm going to hold you to it.
All right. I love that. And I need that. I need that accountability, honestly. So all those tools that are out there just to help you learn more about yourself, where you're at, how you can do better. Because I think it really starts with knowing yourself,
Right.
looking in the mirror, and not pointing fingers. But then, eventually learning about others as well and growing your awareness of others.
That sounds really powerful. And the avatar thing is what has me. Like,
I can't wait for you to see it.
That fascinates me, and I kind of just want to mess with it a little bit, and do what I would really do, but also do some screwing up to see what it tells me.
Yes. Well, and they push you. And we have like beginner, intermediate, and advanced different simulations. But
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like you get off easy,
Oh, so you're ready. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, I'm holding you to that.
All right. I'm excited.
And Kosh listeners, you did hear that she said there might be a few free to be given away. So, do not be scared. We will make sure that we have these professional contact information in the podcast.
If I could, thank you for that. If I could also just say all the work we do around any coaching or those assessments, 100% confidential.
Oh, yeah, that's super important.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just whatever consultant at the Center for All and yourself that has access and doesn't go further than that.
Okay. So, and that happens here in Oshkosh?
Yeah, well, we do it all over. So most of our coaching sessions are virtual, although we do go in person if it's preferred. Sometimes the logistics of navigating around different buildings or different spaces is a barrier that with virtual, we're good. But we do both either. And so we're all over. That's interesting too. So the CESAs, we have these geographical areas, but we can serve outside of that. We just don't heavily market to do that. So, we've done work all over the state. We've done work in Vermont, Illinois. So, anywhere, anyone. This is human work we do.
Human work. I love that terminology. It's so good.
Thank you. It's true. I'm sure it's not for me. I listen to so many people like you and your guests and podcasts all the time, every day when I'm out walking and running. I am a constant sponge. And so I can't always give credit where it's due because I'm getting so much.
Right. You're constantly, me too. Like, I want to give credit and I'm never trying to take something from anyone, but sometimes I'm just consuming so much good information and it jumbles together. I have some of my favorite people, but every once in a while, something will just trickle in from somewhere, or it might have even just been in person in a conversation. And I just don't remember the source.
Yeah. That actually, now I'm going to say I wanted to bring up a quote as I was driving here today. I was like, I can't remember the quote exactly, and I can't remember who said it, but it's so powerful. Just me, I think I identified earlier as being white. Someone recently said that, and I know where it came from. It was the Jennifer Brown podcast. I can't remember the name of her podcast, but they said someday, the thing that they were talking about earned and unearned advantages. And the person speaking was white also and said, someday my whiteness will not serve me.
Ooh.
And I thought that was so powerful and so good and so true. I can already speak like that represents situations I've been in. And it's just so true. And to understand that there's lots of different layers, I feel like, to that. So again, that is someone that I should be giving credit to,
right,
that I just can't right now. But
I love that statement, but then my other half of me went straight to, this is what's causing a large part of our political partisan fear. That statement. Yeah,
because then that zero sum mentality, like if it's taken from me or given away, then something I won't have. I recently, again, I can't give credit to this, but someone compared it, instead of thinking about a pie, like there's only so much pie to go around. Don't think of it that way. Think of it like a cookout. So we were talking about cookouts earlier.
That's right.
If you invite more and more people to the cookout, it's not that there's going to be less food because everyone brings a side dish. You end up having so much food you can't eat it all. So it's good for everyone.
That's right. Bring your Tupperware.
That's right.
Because you're going to have to take a plate home. Don't leave me with all that food.
So yes, this work should be compared to a cookout, not a pie where there's only so much.
I think you just might have created something there. You need to incorporate that into your training.
All right. I'm thinking that I got to get the marketing department on the visuals right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you happen to need a figure in front of a grill, I might be that dude.
Hey, that would be awesome.
Right.
I am writing this down right now for visuals. I'm
That's
like,
right.
I
Timber
love
on
it.
the cookout.
I love it. And I'm going to credit Timber Smith.
Okay. What else for self-awareness?
Well, one thing we do as a further step, people are often looking for resources. They say, I don't know where to start. And
Yes.
so
all the time.
part of what we do, especially with the IDI, it's not just that assessment, but you get a plan with it. It's a 20-page PDF file with 4 different sections that have questions, like reflective question prompts that you journal a response to, that takes you. And one of those sections is on cultural self-awareness. But what's great is the second section is around goal setting. So whether it's, you're focusing on your personal life or your professional life or both, the individual that takes the assessment gets to set their own goals. And then we provide them with some resources to get started. And so we ask a series of questions because everyone likes to learn differently, or you might be a different place in your life. Like you might love to travel, but maybe right now you have little ones and you can't. And so maybe instead of doing that, you can take an online class, or you can read an article or listen to a podcast or watch a movie. So I keep a list of resources, recommended resources for all different cultural groups, even just like topics like unconscious bias, learning more about that. And or like in the workplace, what is when you talk about dominant culture in the United States, what do you mean? Right? So an article on that. So when you learn those things and expand your own learning, like that's when the world gets better, because you're increasing understanding, you're increasing empathy, increasing love, all those good things. And so I think just to wrap up, like we don't just give you the assessment, though. We give you the tools. We talk you through whatever it is that you choose. Like here, you said this is like my episode to kind of run. The same is true when you're doing the work with us as coaches. You lead the conversation. This is your conversation. What do you want coaching on? What can we help you with? And how can we get you there?
All right. Any last words?
Last words, I have a quote that I can give credit to.
All right.
Someone. So there is a thought leader. He's an author and a podcaster. His name.
Wait, these are just the wait, before you say this, these are just the last words on self-awareness.
Oh.
No, we're not
I'm
done.
getting ahead of myself.
We're not done,
All
because
right.
I was feeling where this was going, and I was like, I'm going to pull this back.
Thank you, because now I can have a more powerful ending. I'm going to save that.
You saved that.
So yeah,
Okay.
You got to keep listening, listeners.
That's right. Any last words on self-awareness?
No, it's just you can't go wrong learning more about yourself.
Facts. All right. Well, KOSH listeners, you already know it's that time of the show. Thank you for spending this time with us, giving us your mind, listening, learning with us. I can't stress how much I appreciate all the conversations I get, all the feedback I get as I run into people in the street or emails and such. Thank you for being part of this. And please know we are a work in progress, as always. And so reach out to us. Let us know. Ask to be a guest. Ask our guest questions. Just reach out. Our email is askthekosh@gmail.com. Once that is askthekosh@gmail.com. be part of a show. If you would like, feel free, jump on, send us a voicemail. We do have a voicemail link on our website. So get on the website, send us links, send shout outs and birthday wishes, send whatever you want. This is your show. So I ask you to participate, please. And that is at thekoshpodcast.com. Once again, that is thekoshpodcast.com. You can leave a voicemail. And last but definitely not least, please take time, subscribe to the podcast, leave us reviews, let us know how we're doing. You doing that helps us get in front of more listeners, and we think we got a good thing going here. We just want more people to be able to check out the KOSH and see what we're doing over here. So, but now for the real work. This is when it really begins, because what is this? This is my favorite part of the show. It is shout out time. So Kim, what do you got for shout outs?
All right. So I have to shout out my husband. He's so, I've already talked about him. Mike, thank you. You're wonderful. My daughters, I have to give a shout out to because they keep me very real. They hold me accountable and they challenge me in this work. They are our younger generation, and our family discussions have gotten so much richer and made us all better because we talk about these tough topics. They're just there all the time, and I appreciate them so much. My next shout out is to the Platteville School District and the leadership team there. Superintendent Jim Babel also has these inclusion advocates for their students. They have done some fantastic work. They have been on a journey with the Center for All since we started July 2021, and it has really shifted the needle in Platteville with their staff, with their students. Like, they get new students that move there, might be a student of color, to a pretty rural school district. And if something happens, maybe microaggression or harassment or something, the teachers ask about it, and sometimes the kids write it off, like, you aren't going to do anything anyway. Like, no, we do that here. We're accountable to what we say. They've developed these great statements of belonging for their students and live by them. So maybe I'm going on too much, but oh my goodness, like, a big shout out to the Platteville School District. And then someone I don't know very well that I want to give a shout out to that I just read about, Zach Bryan, is a country artist who we were earlier talking about the Bud Light controversy that's going on. And as a country music artist, he said, isn't this what America is all about? That we accept everyone, that you can be who you want to be, drink what you want to drink, and be here and be who you are. And I just appreciate him, having that attitude. So.
Okay. I like it. You came with him. Yes.
Thank you.
There's nothing better than good shout outs. All right. I want to send a shout out to my man Anthony Miller, the new DEI director of the Oshkosh School District. My man.
All right.
And you know what? Shout out to the Oshkosh School District and the school board for just being about it, like recognizing what was needed and being brave. Being brave. I think they're not getting enough credit for this is what we needed. They listened, and now they're being brave. Mm-hmm. And I know there's going to be naysayers, and there's going to be those people that don't understand. But look at the stats. Mm-hmm. Look at the numbers. It was what was needed.
Yeah. Oshkosh School District, I'm hearing nothing but good things coming out of there, I have to say. I would love to
They're making
have some
changes.
Conversations with some of the people and what's going on there, because
well I know a guy.
I know. And I'm sure I would imagine.
I know a couple people.
I just can't. Yeah, I'm excited for them. Very excited for them. And yes, their leadership has been phenomenal throughout this year.
Yes. We had the superintendent on.
Yes, I listened. I did.
See, that was a good episode. Great episode.
I agree.
Want to send a shout out to Gwen. Gwen is our neighbor across the street. She was a very influential part of Boscoe getting jumped yesterday by the two pugs and helping it all be good. Because you know what? When Boscoe took off running, you know where he went? He went to Gwen's house because that's where treats are. Makes sense to me. So, I mean, thank you, Gwen, for always being there for us and Boscoe. Shout out to Brianna in public health in City of Appleton. City of Appleton just did a homelessness summit, and over 200 people showed up from different sectors, from our business sector, our faith-based sector, our nonprofits, our funders, and it was hosted by the city.
Awesome.
And this conversation was powerful. And because of all the people that showed up, which are the people that we need to do something, right? Because it's not an organization who's going to fix it, or it's not individuals who are going to fix it. It's going to have to take all of us to work at it. And there's not a clean fix, right? But just the fact that everybody showed up, put in input, listened intently, participated, cared, and are waiting for what's our next steps. That says a lot about the community. But I want to give the shout out to Brianna because she was the one that pulled this together. Girl, nice. It was nice. I want to send a shout out to Andy. Andy's our new communications executive at the city. Becoming my partner in crime very quickly. Everybody needs one. Andy, you are a beast. Just loving the changes she's making. I want to send a shout out to Tammy McLaughlin. All right, so we're kicking off a new podcast for the city of Appleton called Appleton Engaged. And Tammy was our first guest. Tammy is the director of the Fox Cities or Fox Valley. So I'm going to totally forget the organization, World Relief, which is the organization that primarily does the initial transitioning and bringing in of our immigrant populations, our refugee population, right? First of all, Tammy's amazing. She's our first episode, but more importantly, this month is Refugee Month. Oh. National World Refugee Month, if I am correct. So just a shout out because she just does great work. Want to send a shout out to Thomas Cannon, the poet laureate here in Oshkosh. We are working on our poet laureate program in Appleton, so I'm working on that, trying to make it happen. And Thomas is my go-to. Like when I need to ask some questions, like he's just solid. Okay. And he always shows up. Aww. Also a former guest. So we call our former guest KOSH alumni.
Oh, so now I'm a KOSH alumni.
Facts.
Love it.
Facts. And last shout out goes to Dr. Kenny Yarborough over at Lawrence, the newer, I won't say new because it's been a couple of months now, but newer DEI vice president for Lawrence University. My man, you already know. That's all I'm going to say. It was good. I got a chance to spend some time with him and chop it up. And the conversation was just amazing. And I can't wait for us to be able to work more together and find ways to partner, which we definitely will. All right. So now it is the end of the show. So this is it. You have choices, right? 3 choices. There is option A, where you can give the KOSH listeners some parting words of wisdom. You can do option B, which is, what would yourself today tell your 12-year-old self? Or option C, all of the above.
All right. I'm going to go with words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. So this is where I was headed before. And Adam Grant is a thought leader, as I mentioned before. And I've used this quote so much in my work. It really relates to that cultural self-awareness I was speaking to before. Because I grew up with the saying, knowledge is power, right? Like,
right.
Well, he takes it a step further. He says, if knowledge is power, then knowing what you don't know is wisdom.
That's powerful. All right. Kim, what did you think?
I loved it. I love talking with you. I feel like there were so many things, even at the end as you were giving shout outs. I was like, oh, we could talk about this, and oh, we could talk about that. So yeah, maybe another time.
Oh yeah, it's the KOSH.